hearing a lot of reports lately about the troubles coming up in the future with Generation Alpha, Generation Beta. I haven't watched the commentary on Generation Beta yet, but hearing what is coming down the pike, the way kids are behaving, the way that they are purposely kept unaware, entitled, spoiled, put in front of a screen constantly. We're raising handicapped individuals. Hey, who does that benefit? So there will be some kind of reckoning. There will be some kind of time where that generation isn't going to be controlled. And they'll have no sense of morality to pull them into some type of together. So it will be like tribal behavior. Maybe I should read to you Lord of the Flies. But if I don't get to that one, because I don't even own it, if I don't get to that, then, well, that's your own homework. Because the one thing that I'm pretending to give you is access to knowledge. Knowledge. And I got to thinking, as dumbed down as these kids are going to be, and as simple and instinctual and predictable are the flaws of the mind of abusive, childish people, well, you can be equipped to know these mechanisms and use them to your advantage. I'm not going to moralize to you what or how, what is acceptable or approvable, but if you know the behavior of stupid people, you will know the behavior of seeking compassion, no conflict, understanding, or manipulation, control, dominance. It's all at your disposal. Wouldn't I love to be able to give that to people? And I can't. Even if I sat with my granddaughter every single day. Children don't listen. Children aren't going to sit here for the next few minutes while I'm talking and absorb what I'm saying. It doesn't happen. Not much anymore, because we've lost the idea of respect and honoring wisdom, our elders, etc. and so forth. We honor and respect what everybody else is doing. And I want you to understand these mentalities, because that's all it is. See past the mask of the human mentality, and you will be able to unmask yourself, protect yourself, etc., that you want to do. And that's the reason why I've decided that I am going to continue to read The Adventures of the Great Brain, no matter how alien the political opinions are in this book. This particular book, which I didn't realize was going to be a problematic, deals with a young lady who's been raised like a boy because her mother died in childbirth, and so she was raised like a boy, so she was something of a tomboy. And Tom, our hero, our intelligent hero that knows the tricks of dumb humans, wants to accomplish things, and one of those things is being accepted by the group. You want to play with the big boys, you gotta put up like the big boys. You want to. We're not gonna have pity on you. We play rough around here. You got somebody picking on you, Well, you're going to have to take care of yourself if you want them to ever stop picking on you. That's some of the lessons in this book. But the other lesson in this book is how Tom's mother wants him to help her learn how to be like a girl, more femininity, so that she's not going to have to face the very same bullying issues amongst the girls. Because this young lady needs to fit in all society, especially society of her day. And if she wants her individual self, she has to be respectable to her peers in this world. This world represents all that things that you want to make fun of. Ooh, boomer. Ooh, the silent generation. Ooh, all the people before that. And ooh, Gen X, and they're drinking from the water hose. This is drinking from the water hose. This is the lesson that the Gen Xers aren't saying to you. They're just bragging to you that their roughhousing experiences can be memed. But these are that. If I had, well, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. As a matter of fact, Little House on the Prairie, I wouldn't enjoy reading it. Not out loud. I think I would enjoy reading it because they talk about how to do the old homeschool, homespun shit, but I'd rather watch the show. So I bought all the seasons of Little House on the Prairie because I find that to be a good example of a humanity-centered way to live, a moral system. I'm getting a little sidetracked at the moment, but because of when these kids discover themselves lost in their youth, this is sort of like once upon a time all the people in the world were trying to get together and make debates and decide, hey, what to do, how to make the rules, how do we all get heard, how do we all consider what we're talking about, and how do we keep up with what's going on, and the rules for common engagement in conversation in public arena. And it's called Brown's Law. I believe I know it's Brown's, but is it Brown's Law or regulations for parliamentary process, parliamentary something or another? But just with the words that I've given you, you can take that and find out for yourself. And if you want to know the rules of how to get people to share ideas and converse, that procedure was just a way to codify it. But I don't have it, and I'm not going to bore you with it because you have to be the driver of your own education, because you're sure as hell not getting any, not by listening to the internet. Except for me, I'm on the internet. You can listen to me. Well, anyway, I'm going to read those books. And the reason I'm going to read those books, and the reason why I'm going to continue to read all the books, well, I have a small selection here that I'd like to definitely get through, and I'm going to introduce them to you here and now. And I'm cotton-mouthed again, so I need my water. Is because the people are dumber, reduced down to their base behaviors. That's a commonality. This is the worst case commonality. So we train with weights. You understand? We train with weights so that we know the depths of showing compassion. Touchgrass World. Okay, so I'm just going to read the note as is, and whoa, meh. And then I'll try. I said meh. Alright. Then I'll try to get to the rest of the introductions to what I'd like to accomplish in the time space that I've permitted for this project, which who knows what I'm going to get through. I will read The Brain because it is before computer games, and it showed how people worked things out. But worked things out, entertained and grew in a touchgrass world, but not a violent world. The boomer, the silent, and Generation X's childhoods. People will be dumber, and their tricks will be obvious to you with the education I have offered you here. Now, that doesn't make life easier. The question is, who are you going to make it harder for? Anyhow, I want to get to all the books that I have ever mentioned before on my channel, because by doing so, whatever is accomplished by the end of this year will be a circle of what I want to, it'll be a circle, it'll be a unit. It's not going to be unended as best I can help it. And because I totally gushed on The Great Brain, and I read it again in my adulthood, and it still was beautiful to me, I really want to make sure I get through the 5 or 6 of these that there are. Now, there are 2 other children, young adult stories, and one of them's going to get me in trouble because it's out of my race. I'm not this race. How can I read a story when I'm not knowing the experience of this race? But it's such a beautiful story, and I read it at least 3 times before as a child. I haven't read it again since I became grown up. But it says, it's called Slave Girl. The original title of this book is called Cowslip by Betsy Haynes. Sold for $500, yells the slave auctioneer. The young girl trembles with fear. She hears the other children start crying as they see their friend put in chains and led away by her new master. What will happen to her now? Share her adventures and her wonderful discovery. So, I want to read it because it is a story of a time that was real, a person or type of person that was real, and within their context. So, I don't know what all to expect from that book either. My other most favorite context, fictional history, actually actual history, was the colonial period in America, particularly the Puritans. Well, I thought they knew something about theocracy, but they were just as flawed as everybody else, but it didn't stop me from totally, you look like you got wet. Are you a broken book? Yeah, you're a little bit of a broken book, or book. Short-sighted people all the same, and a young girl who finds an eccentric person to make friends with, but the eccentric person was already feared and rumored about and whispered about. They thought that that person was a witch, and because she started to be a friend to this lady, they gave her trouble too and tried to accuse her of being a witch, and she had to get through that. Don't remember how. Read it once as a youngster. I read it again a couple years ago when I bought it. I think I read it, and don't remember it. So totally try. Oh God, this is really a moldy old book, and I'll really try to read it again. Its thing goes, Kit Tyler knows, as she gazes for the first time at the cold, bleak shores of Connecticut colony, that her new home will never be like the shimmering Caribbean islands that she has left behind. She is like a tropical bird that has flown to the wrong part of the world, and in the stern Puritan community of her relatives, she soon feels caged as well, and lonely. In the meadows, the only place where she can feel completely free, She meets another lone and mysterious figure, the old woman known as the Witch of Blackbird Pond. But when their friendship is discovered, Kit faces suspicion, fear, and anger. She herself is accused of witchcraft. So, it's another type in the story of they don't let the artists and the sad and the free. So, just as wow as this world can be, these also happened in that world. And these are not pretty things. And then the last fiction book, well, yeah. The last fiction book for the cult training, it's a thick book. Not as thick as East of Eden, and I want to get to that book desperately, but who knows? It's a real book about good and evil and the choice. And it's very long. It's like it's like two of these. Well, 1.5. And this one's called The Program. And you know what? I don't like Greg Hurwitz's other book. I had another book of his, and it's more like a corny humor, buddy detective cop show, and I didn't like it. This, I read it 2 times. Okay, it's called The Program, and it says, somebody says about it, a compelling, riveting, dead smart thriller. If you haven't discovered Greg Hurwitz yet, get ye to a bookstore. Well, she didn't say ye, but I put that in there because I'm cute. Lee Henning, an 18-year-old daughter of a famous Hollywood producer, has vanished into the program, a shadowy cult that practices mind control and manipulation, led by its brilliant messianic leader, TD, Teacher Betters. Lee surrendered her life looking for peace, and she found hell. Called back into the fold of the U.S. Marshal Service, having lost his own daughter to evil Tim Rackley, having lost his own daughter to evil, Tim Rackley is determined to infiltrate the malevolent society and bring the confused teenager home. But what is going on within the program is more shocking and horrific than he'd ever imagined. In his determination to rescue Lee and countless other innocent, vulnerable minds from the teacher's lies and machinations could cost Ricky much more than his life and plunge him into a deep, terrible, and inescapable darkness. James Patterson said, "Tough, true, well written, and memorable as hell." Washington Post said, "Pure, propulsive readability." I agree. If we ever get to it. It's going to be just a little while off. I have butter. Alright. I've been missing doing a Zen book. Kind of thinking about doing the Zen book next, and then reading The Great Brain. That's what I kind of hope to do. I've not finished praying over it. I pray. So I want to read Hang Po. Talks about the mind, talks about how to train the mind, what the mind is, and there's a lot of questions and answers. It sounds like Zen, so it'll probably be one of the first ones we got that we're going to get through. And he'll set you straight up so that we can probably read Lynchy after that. That's his little baby boy, his little son. Well, student. So we're going to do that. And then, I don't know if I'll get to it, but I promise myself that I would try to read the Bhagavad Gita, and it is the holy scripture of Krishna, who come to earth. Krishna is Vishnu, and Vishnu became a person. The person was Krishna, and Krishna came down here, and Krishna said to the king, dude, why you don't chill out, man? I gotta work out my voice. But I want to play him as a surfer dude. Well, they want to try a let's try a random. It's not those who lack energy or refrain from action, but those who work without expectation of reward who attain the goal of meditation. Theirs is true renunciation, dude. Therefore, Arjuna, you should understand that renunciation and the performance of selfless service are the same. Those who cannot renounce attachments to the results of their works are far from the path, man. I'll work on it. It could work. It could work. I just gotta watch some Bill and Ted before I can get it right. Now, we have some psychological books training about the manipulation and the controls and the psychological tips and tricks and tools of the trade of the intelligent trying to manipulate you and of the unintelligent thinking they're smart and got you, man. I got you. You know, so for all types, to know what's going on, to have an understanding of who controls your information. It happens. It's real. I'm not a conspiracist. I got the book on it. Not so big. Not this book, but this book. This grouping of words was written about 100 years ago. So this grouping of words lays down a method of understanding how to control general society. And it has gotten so far way out of hand that, well, you can't even have an opinion these days unless that opinion is gate-kept, corralled, spoon-fed. This is design. This book. And you know what? Everybody knows about this book. Everybody talks about it. Everybody in the circle of whatever talks about this book and how important it is. But you know what they do? They only repeat 3 known facts about this book, and that's the only thing they know. Edward Bernays was related to Sigmund Freud. Edward Bernays is the reason why smoking is accepted amongst the females. He had freedom torches, and there was cigarettes, and he organized a march, and he paid the women to do it. And what else? He explains how to make commercials and get people to buy the shit. That's all they know. They explain a little bit, but it's all about that. Nothing in depth. So by reading this book to you, you'll know. Or you won't watch it, and then you won't know. But if you ever wanted to know, for some reason, you might find it could save your fucking life. Save your sanity. Or make you insane. It'll be there. Now, another important book. A lot of salesmen and a lot of cult leaders have read this book. And therefore, beautiful. They will use this techniques in here to manipulate the decisions and behavior, to make a person feel weaker, to make a person feel self-doubt, to make them give more. How to lie. Hell, this book is so good, I bought it twice. I bought one version, and then I saw this one revised edition, but I thought it was like a part 2. So I ended up buying it too because I didn't want to miss out. FOMO. FOMO is explained in this book. Now, whether or not I get to this, or how soon I get to this, the Guru Papers, I'm not exactly sure. It is quite in depth about the inner intricacies, which I've explained several times on my speech, or on my channel situation. These 3 books I want to get to quick. After Propaganda. Yeah, probably after Propaganda, or maybe after. Who cares, right? Who cares? And these ones are helpful for social studies, study of humanity and how we act in crowds. This one is hey, look, I'm sure it's got a lot of good tips in it, but I find it, at least I like to think it is. It's probably not. Maybe I find it remedial, maybe I don't find a lot. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a lot in here that's great. Boom, whatever, here we go. How to deal with manipulating people, how to understand, and how to deal with certain, gives you strategies for understanding how to covertly avoid the manipulations that you have to deal with. Like, suppose you have a bad boss and the boss is an asshole. This teaches you some tips about how to deal with that, how to not invoke their wrath. How to deal with that with my job. As you can tell, if you know me, I did a barbaric yolt back then, where I was totally just, I hate my boss, she's there, me, and I was totally out of it. And this one, Gustave Le Bon, social scientist, a psychologist, I believe, back late to mid 1800s. So the thoughts penned in this book are well over 100 years. And he speaks about the present age, and the great changes in civilization are the consequences of changes in national thought. So, and that's his, and we're coming out of his time. This time is this time, okay? This time is a study of humanity. The popular mind, a crowd study. So, these ideas were the science of common understanding of humans that enabled the studies that made these techniques. So, everything I got here is curricula. And I should hope that I pick the books, the storybooks to read to you that also are as curricula. Now, this one, same guy, Gustave Le Bon, and he made a study of the French Revolution. The writing in this one is so tiny. It's going to be very hard. But he studies the people and the politics and the persuasion, propaganda, that rouses a crowd of humans up for revolution. Not what's right or wrong, but the tricks and the games that people play to get the minds of the public follow along like little sheep. Invaluable. And like I said, these basic science built the foundation of understanding how to abuse people and get away with it because it's fun and profitable. That's it. Like I said, the Guru Papers takes you straight inside the heart of a brainwashing cult and tells you, breaks it down, tells you how it fucks up, well, how it operates. So there, I'm thinking, this should come after this. I was always thinking that, but I'm finalizing the process. And hopefully, at the very least, this will take up the year if I'm diligent. So, if I'm diligent, I'll probably start tonight. But that's what we're up to. First up, Zen book. Second up, Great Brain. And then probably Propaganda are the order of the next 3 projects. And in the meantime, I gotta get better at reading. But I also gotta work on my surfer dude. And again, encouragement. If you liked any of the other spiritual productions I put on, then let me know if you think it'd be kind of cool to hear me try out something like that. That would be so awesome, because then I would totally be, I'm vibed. Bye bye.